In today's video, we'll be taking a look at Vizsla for the vintage collection. So similar to Thrawn, who I reviewed previously, this is another character that's been highly anticipated for many years now for most collectors. Usually he ends up making most people's top wants in the vintage collection. Now we finally have him. And he's a very nice action figure. Despite him reutilizing a lot of parts, I feel like I'm holding a brand new action figure. Of course, pretty much everything from the neck down is all reuse with a couple repaints here and there. The only really new parts about him are just the helmet, of course the Darksaber, and the jetpack and the head underneath. But despite that, it feels like a brand new action figure. It's very impressive. I feel like I've liked this action figure a lot more than I thought I would. I'm kind of a fan of Vizsla. He's not one of my favorite characters. Yes, he's very neat, and I think he's probably one of the better Mandalorians that Hasbro has released throughout the years. Of course, I do have the Clone Wars Vizsla reviewed on the channel, and that is probably one of the best Clone Wars action figures that Hasbro made at the time. But this is a worthy successor to it. And as the review goes on, I'll bring out the little Clone Wars one as well, and we'll compare. I want to see if the helmet from the Clone Wars action figure actually fits on this one, and of course the cape that he has as well. I think that would have been nice to include that with these, or with this TVC action figure. The prices we're paying was at $16.99. You think Hasbro could have included an extra helmet and then maybe the cape, so that way we can kind of swap them out and make him like his, I wouldn't say Phase 1 armor, but that's basically what it was. And I think he had a different jetpack as well, so I doubt those extra accessories would have broke the bank for Hasbro, but who knows, I'm sure they have an excuse for something. But still, that would have been nice to include with this. Probably would have made a deluxe set, but, you know, it is what it is these days. But anyways, let's just go ahead and take a closer look at him. So this is between this and the Black Series action figure that just got released as well. This is the first offering we've gotten in Vizsla with this particular armor set. Has all these antennas around him. That's the Death Watch logo right there. One thing that really sticks out to me is how nicely painted his armor is, especially with that blue logo he has there. Just something about it looks very crisp to me. Here's his jetpack. I think this is a first offering for this particular jetpack as well. And the Darksaber. So with the Darksaber here, I thought Hasbro would probably cheapen out on us and just give us a repack of the same one that came with Moff Gideon previously. But it turns out that's not the case. They did update it a little bit and make it look a little bit more with more effects on it. It looks really nice. I think it turned out really well. Instead of just a solid black blade like Moff Gideon's here, it has a little bit of some character to it. His helmet does come off. It was a little bit of a struggle to get this on and take it off, more than you would think. Pretty good head sculpt for Vizsla here. A lot different for his realistic interpretation than I would have thought. It's interesting, again, Hasbro being inconsistent. So with Vizsla here, they went for a realistic look, but then characters like Hunter and several others throughout the TVC line, Waxer and the 212 set, they go for a more animated look. So Hasbro being inconsistent again, but I'm glad for pre-Vizsla here they went with the realistic look. We already have the animated look for him, which looks very faithful to what we see in the cartoon, so it's nice to have a different interpretation of him. And he has a little bit of that 5 o'clock shadow going on. You can tell he's seen some action. So for articulation, it's pretty standard for this Mandalorian sculpt. He has the double ball joint, the head, I think, where it's the barbell in there. He has the hinge at the shoulders, and it does have that flex there with the shoulder armor, and the hinged elbows and hinged wrists, the hinged waist, hinged hips, and the swivel thigh, and hinged knees, and rocker ankles. For accessories, of course, we show off the Darksaber. And let me just bring all 3 of the Darksabers out right now. We get a quick glimpse at how it's evolved throughout the years. So each of the 3 blades, so you can see a big difference between all 3. In fact, we'll do it this way. Looks like the hilt's about the same between, so this is probably the same Darksaber between the 2. It's just a slight repaint. Of course, the Clone Wars one there. And his jetpack here is removable. It stays into place pretty good. Doesn't feel like it's going to fall out or anything. If you do have the deluxe Boba Fett action figure, the one with the 2 Stormtrooper helmets, I think you can take the blast effects from his jetpack there and put it on some of these Mandalorians. I've not tested that yet, but perhaps I will here soon. And then last, he has his standard, or the standard Mandalorian pistols that we've gotten so many times before. I do think they're repainted a little bit. I don't recall them being a very dark gray. Usually it's like a light silver color. Or perhaps it is. Let me see. Yeah. Here he is with the other Death Watch Mandalorian, and there is a slight repaint between the 2. He seems to be able to hold them both well in each hand. They fit in the holster a lot better than most of the Mandalorians I have too. Usually they only go in like halfway, or sometimes they just plain won't fit at all. Yeah. Especially that one there, it's very fluid. Fits like a glove. And here he is with his first interpretation of him. A little bit of difference between the 2. Let's see these helmets. So the helmets actually look like they're about the same size. So let's give it a go and see how it works. It is a little tight, so it's not quite there. And I don't want to stretch out that helmet too much, but it is definitely much tighter compared to this one. Try to see here. Yeah, there's a little bit more space in this Phase 2 helmet, but they're really close though. Let's see how this fits on them. Yeah, that's definitely much looser. And kind of like a bobblehead. Unfortunately, that doesn't work out too well. But perhaps the cape here. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I think. I think most people could justify that. I know for this particular armor, he never wore the cape. Doesn't mean he didn't still have it, though. He may just not have worn it at that particular point in time. So the cape fits good. The helmet does not, though. Some differences. Of course, he has this blue symbol here, while here he does not. And it looks like he has some design on his shoulder armor for the Phase 1 armor, but not so much this one. Let's see here. Definitely gonna have to put a stand on him. He doesn't seem to stand the best on his own. Move Moff Gideon out of the way here. And just one more comparison I'll do. Him and Mull here. And they look really good together. All we really need at this point for this particular set is Clone Wars Bo-Katan, I think. Gar Saxon would be nice as well. I think he'd be a pretty easy repaint. So he stands there. I do have two of this Death Watch Airborne Mandalorian. The other one I have tucked away right now because I just simply don't have any space to display him. I should hopefully hear soon. And these all look pretty good together. Yeah, didn't take a look at the package quite yet. Nice image of Vizsla there. Clone Wars. Yeah. See if I can get a spare stand for him right now. Unfortunately, looks like the holes in his feet are kind of small. do have an idea. It's not the proper stand, but it will do. Take one of these Black Series ones. Unfortunately, my card came a little bit bent through the mail. Has that crease up here, and it's a little warped. So yes, this is one of the first packages that I've gotten where it kind of is reminiscent to the TVC 1.0 days when the action figure was featured on the back, or like the debut of it. This is VC 299. Little description about them. I think this is a nice new update for the card back. I prefer it over what we had previously, and I think we had that previous one for a very long time, towards the end of TVC 1.0, during the Phantom Menace wave on, and then up till recently. So we had it for about 11 years. So would I recommend Vizsla for your collection? I totally would. It's a very nice action figure. I'm far more impressed with him than I thought I would be. I knew instantly when he went up for pre-order that yes, I'm going to get him, but I thought, he'll just be an average character, you know, and another Mandalorian to add to the shelf. Nothing too big. But after having him in hand and seeing what he's all about, I think he might be one of the best that Hasbro's made with this sculpt. It's nice that we finally have him in TVC, and it's nice we finally have him in this armor. Don't know if I'll get the Black Series action figure. It's not a high priority for me, and it doesn't seem like he's been readily available so far. Perhaps I'll get him. I think he's reutilizing the older Mandalorian sculpt, though. Nothing really too new about it, other than like the helmet and the Darksaber and the jetpack. And I can't say it's probably one of the most exciting Black Series action figures, but who knows? Maybe it'll be like the TVC figure here, and I'll get it someday, and it'll be another one where I get it in hand, and then it's like, oh, you know, it's a lot. There's a lot more going for this than I originally thought. So yes, I would recommend this TVC action figure for your collection. It does seem like he's kind of readily available, a lot more than a lot of the previous ones. People are finding him at Walmart, and it seems like a lot of the Entertainment Earth and Amazon orders are being fulfilled. So if you really want him for your collection, I suggest this is the time you jump on him, at the time of this video at least. Years from now, who knows what the price of him will be. You never know. Sometimes figures that you would think end up becoming extremely rare and expensive eventually ended up not. And it's because the market just got totally saturated with them. And being that it's the holidays, usually Hasbro ends up having a larger supply of the action figures released during the holidays. So maybe his price will stay down for quite a while. Only time will tell on that. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be lots more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always greatly appreciate your support. And check out some of the links in the description if you have not done so already. As always, thanks for watching.